G'day, ladies and gents. Welcome to yet another installment of Before Our Time. We are taking a deep dive onto Wrestlemania 5. Guys, if you're new here, you don't know what this show's all about. Pretty much me and my co-host, young Anthony, over here, we were too young. We were in our daddy's sack. I'm going to try and say that every time. And we missed a lot of these manias, especially this mania. And this is one of maybe my favorite episodes that we're going to even record before our time. Who knows? But I am the Australian icon, Nick Storm, and I am joined by
the Hollywood idol himself, young Anthony. Holy shit, Nick. We are 5 episodes in. We are more than a month into this journey of WrestleMania. And, you know, this time around, we are once again in Atlantic City, New Jersey. We are joined by the former president himself, Donald Trump. And we've got a huge main event. Because, brother, when the MegaPowers explode, you're going to have a fantastic main event. What you going to do, bro? Oh, yeah, we're about to have a massive main event. He's already got the figures and everything. He came prepared.
I'm ready for it, man.
Dude, I'm hyped for this Mania. There's some good stuff. There's some shit stuff. But all in all, this is going to be a fun episode.
Yeah, dude, there's some great stuff in here. You know, we'll get into the main event, but that's the highlight of this episode for me, and you can hear us talk all about it. But there's also some shit, really just shit, dumpster fucking dive. I'm gonna go dumpster diving, and what am I gonna pull out? I'm gonna pull out a couple of these matches of these manias when I go
Maybe you'll
dumpster
pull out
diving
a
next
fire
time
extinguisher around. When you go dumpster diving. A little hint there.
No, I'm just gonna. What's his name? Morton Downey Jr. He's in the dumpster. He's in the fucking dumpster.
Oh, we'll get to Morton Downey in a little bit. Yeah.
I'm getting fired up, Anthony. Let's breeze through this. What do we got? What do we got first?
What do we got? Well, I mean, we could talk all about Piper's Pit and fire extinguishers and the MegaPowers exploding, but there's only one way that we can officially kick off today's episode, like we always do, and that is by getting on the road to WrestleMania. It's time for the road to WrestleMania. So, when it comes down to the road to WrestleMania, there's really one story that this WrestleMania was built around. Of course, there's always going to be a few stories, but the main story in itself has to be the main event. Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage. Well, you're probably going to ask yourself, hey, Nick, hey, Anthony, weren't these guys just teaming up last Mania? You know, Hogan saved Randy Savage, you know, in many people's eyes, took the spotlight away from Randy Savage. And weren't they the MegaPowers, you know, with the big handshake and everything? What the hell is going on here? Well, there's a long story to go along with this, and I'll do my best to break things down, but I may need a little help in just a few moments, and we'll get to that in just a minute there. But look, when it comes down to the MegaPowers exploding, let's take you all the way back. There was a Saturday night's main event. Randy Savage was saved from a 3-on-1 assault by Hulk Hogan himself, and they started to team together, you know, watch each other's back. We saw it at WrestleMania. Hogan, you know, helped out Savage to win the world title. And then we get the big handshake and the MegaPowers form, and they start to become a tag team. They're going up against the $1 Million Man and Andre the Giant and all these different tag teams. But then things start to get a little tense. Hulk Hogan actually starts to ask Miss Elizabeth, of course, Randy Savage's boo thing, if you will, to accompany him to the ring on his own matches, which starts to piss Savage off. You can start seeing it in his eyes. You can see it in his eyes that Savage is starting to get a little pissed off here. To add on to this, Hogan accidentally eliminates Randy Savage, the world champion himself, from the Royal Rumble. This was before, you know, the Royal Rumble is what it is today, where you get the world title shot and everything. But Hogan eliminates Savage, and Savage is pissed. He is so mad. And then it all comes down to a big tag team match on a show called The Main Event, where we have the Twin Towers, which we will hear from in a little bit. They have a match tonight going up against the MegaPowers. So, Akeem, the African Dream throws Randy Savage through the ropes, and he hits Elizabeth. Boom. Hits him just like that. Hits her just like that. Hogan sees this, and of course, he cares for Elizabeth, right? They're a team, so he carries Elizabeth to the back to make sure that she is safe. Meanwhile, Savage is left in the ring to fend the Twin Towers for himself. Hogan eventually comes back down to the ring. Savage gets right up in Hogan's face and slaps him in the face. Savage leaves. Hogan still wins the match on behalf of his team, so W for the MegaPowers. But things got a little tense in the back, where Elizabeth is laying out. She's hurt. She's in medical. But there's only so much that I could say about, what happens here. I think it is time to get to our first mini segment, one of our favorite segments on the night. And it is the split up of the MegaPowers by way of
AlfredVision.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
No, you didn't come at me like a man. You're jealous because I'm the World Wrestling Federation champion now. And I'm going to be a long time wrong. Listen, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. No, I'm going to tell you what you're wrong about more than anything else. No, I'm going to tell you what you're wrong about more than anything else. I can take anything. But I'm going to tell you something right now. Those eyes right there. Those eyes. Those two Elizabeth. You got my face. You got one for Elizabeth right there. Try and talk some sense to me. Oh, big time, huh?
And so starts the feud. Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, the MegaPowers explode. Nick, this was definitely a big-time story here going into this WrestleMania. You got Randy Savage, Hulk Hogan, two of the biggest names that we've seen so far on Before Our Time. Savage, low-key, one of the more MVP names of WrestleMania, running the gauntlet in the tournament, having many consider it to be a 5-star match. We consider it to be a 4.5-star match with Ricky Steamboat. Hulk Hogan, what needs to be said, going up against the Giants like King Kong Bundy and Andre the Giant twice. So this is definitely a huge money match in the making, and it's all going to happen in Atlantic City. What are your thoughts on this match? What were your hype levels going into this one?
This, I think, was the most hyped I've ever been for a Mania match on Before Our Time history. This is the most hyped I've ever been because the build with Hulk Hogan, just in general in Mania 1, you can just tell how just enraged this crowd is with Hulkamania, brother, right? So you've seen that build for a long time, and then you've also seen the rise of Randy Savage, Macho Man coming into his own in WrestleMania 2, round 3 maybe, with his doing his whole character and all his great character work that we know and love. So it was just a matter of time before we got this matchup, I feel like. And what better way to do it than a main event on the biggest wrestling show of the year that you can provide. And it's having the MegaPowers explode. And I think the way they went about this whole story is completely perfect. And dude, excited to talk about this match.
No, me too. I mean, I know a lot of people maybe not know, but I had a previous podcast that I did with Tyler from Counted Out. I've mentioned it once or twice on the show called Classic Match Classroom. And this was one of the main matches that we reviewed. And at the time, I'll spoil it for you. I gave it a B at the time. And I don't remember my exact reasoning for it. I couldn't even tell you what it was. But watching this match again, it gives you a fresh look on things. Like there were some points in this match that I don't even remember happening. So I definitely was watching this with a newer fan's perspective, some different eyes here. And especially, watching the previous Manias, you get more of the story. Like, yeah, on the Classroom podcast, like we would go in and, dive deep into the rivalry, but I think you really get a good outlook by looking at the past 4 Manias, seeing the type of matches at the time and seeing the type of characters that would go at it with each other. that's kind of the beauty of the show, almost in a way, is that like you get to compare not only, you know, the matches that we see nowadays, but as you go along, you see like the evolution of like how rivalries are built and, you know, how matches are crafted and all of that type of stuff. And definitely you see it in this Mania that there is a lot of evolution of storytelling. And there's one type of aspect of storytelling that I'm not even sure if you know about, as we get another type of build to this Mania. And, you know, we always talk about like, you know, short stories, you know, selling WrestleMania, and that you really only need one impactful moment to put over a, you know, put over some type of big match. And, you know, we saw it the other day on Dynamite, right? CM Punk returns, has the big stare down with John Moxley, and boom, you have your all-out Mania. You have your Mania match. You have your all-out main event, if you will.
All-out Mania match, dude. Can we? Let's do it before our time. Just all-out pay-per-views. It's be a 4-episode long thing, and then it's just over in a month.
I'm all for it. That'll be our mini series coming soon to a tavern near you. But you know, on the topic of kind of one segment feuds, there was one for the Intercontinental Championship that we're going to be looking at a little later. And there was a single segment to build up to this feud. I'm sure there were other promos and stuff, but the main segment was between the Ultimate Warrior, who was your Intercontinental Champion, and Ravishing Rick Rude. Both of these guys we saw at the last Mania. It was their first Mania. And the way that they decided to start building towards a Rick Rude versus Ultimate Warrior Intercontinental Championship match was at the Royal Rumble, and they had a pose down. Yes, they got in the ring and they posed. As you see, Warrior given a nice pose there, and Rick Rude definitely got pissed off at the fact that due to fan decision, Ultimate Warrior won the pose off, and Rick Rude was having none of it. He goes on to attack Warrior after the pose off, and that sets up our Intercontinental Championship match. Nick, there's not much to be said about this segment, but instead, I would like to take this time to challenge you to a pose down. I want you to give me your best poses, and we are going to let the live fans decide who wins. I've been getting ready. As you see, I've kind of oiled myself up to make my muscles look stronger. Nick, go ahead.
Well, I didn't get any time to oil down. How about this? Okay, here we go. I'm gonna fuck.
Oh my God, Nick, this was not supposed to happen, folks. Wait, Nick, are you okay? Please tell me you're okay. I think you won. I think you won on that one. I can't even
go ahead.
I can't even go against that. I think you won for sure on this one. I'll give it to you.
Thank you.
But yes, that pose down alone was enough to set up an Intercontinental Championship match. Goes to show you the short level of storytelling that you can really get towards a Mania match. But on the other hand, there were some more intricate storylines being told, such as for the WWF World Tag Team Championships. So we all know the tag team of Demolition, Axe, Smash. We saw them at Last Mania, where they defeated Strike Force for the World Tag Team Championships. And we all know that they were a big heel tag team, right? Strike Force with the good guys, Demolition with their face paint, their spikes, and their leather, and, you know, all of that, greased up hair. They're the heels. And they were managed by Mr. Fuji. However, at Survivor Series, Mr. Fuji, for some strange reason, turns on Demolition. I think it was Smash that bounced off the ropes, and Mr. Fuji, using his cane, kind of trips him a little bit. After that little instance, Axe and Smash throw Mr. Fuji to the floor on the outside, and that, in turn, turns Demolition face, which now we have a good guy team of Demolition. And who is to help Mr. Fuji up to his feet, but none other than a newer tag team in the WWF tag team division, the Powers of Pain. That would be the Warlord and the Barbarian. So they were a babyface tag team at the time at Survivor Series. They turn heel and they help Mr. Fuji to his feet. And now Mr. Fuji is aligned himself with the Powers of Pain. So tonight we will see a WWF World Tag Team Championship handicap match as Demolition defend their titles against the Powers of Pain, who are teamed up with Mr. Fuji. Nick, give me your thoughts on double turns, right? This is a double turn that we saw right here. Of course, Demolition turning face, Powers of Pain turning heel. What to you makes for a good double turn? How much emotion needs to be drawn? How to what extent do your wrestlers need to be built up? Of course, the most iconic being Brett and Austin that we're going to see at WrestleMania 13. But what's your take on double turns?
Well, we don't see them often, and I don't think they can be executed as often because then it kind of loses the specialness of it. You know what I mean? There's one that just comes to mind, and I think it was Mania 18. I remember hearing The Rock talk about this, but I think Hogan was a heel going into it, and Rock played off of the crowd, and everyone was behind Hogan, and so The Rock in that did a kind of improvisation and became the heel in the match, and that's kind of a double turn that just happened naturally. So I think that's how you have to play it most times, is just play off the crowd. And because then if it's like a good reaction to the crowd through the TV, you can kind of feel that, you know what I mean? Like if a crowd is reacting a certain way, you can kind of feel that through the TV, I think, and through the screen. But what makes you think? What makes you think that you can be here in the? No, I worded that wrong. What makes you think that that double turns are special, or what are they cool? What do you think as well?
No, I think double turns are great, especially if you want to start, changing up your division a little bit. Like you can clearly see that, Demolition. I'm sure I think they were running with a feud with the Hart Foundation around this 1988 time period, the previous year. And there's only so much that you could do with certain wrestlers until you finally have to, turn them to the other side. You can see a perfect example of this is Hart and Austin, right? Bret Hart, you're going into the Attitude Era. You need to spice things up a little bit. And Bret Hart was your key guy in this new generation. So what do? You turn him heel. On the flip side, Steve Austin is slowly becoming one of the most over guys in WWF, but he's a heel. So what do? You turn him face. So I think when done correctly, and it doesn't happen all the time because you really don't get that chance to do so all the time, double turns are very effective for when you want to spice up your roster a little bit. Of course, in your case, when you're mentioning like Hogan and Rock, I think that is more along the lines of like a crowd reaction double turn. And sometimes wrestling companies can go with it. Sometimes not so much. We saw for Hogan and Rock, they definitely went forward and turned Hogan face. And they did a lot of that on the fly. Like nothing was really supposed to go that way. But nonetheless, I think it's always beneficial to have those type of double turns. Like we're always calling for them kind of in our fantasy booking. I was certainly calling for it around Double or Nothing with Punk and Hangman Page. I would have loved to see type of double turn where you turn Punk heel or, do something like that. But nonetheless, I just wanted to bring that up because it's something so rare that honestly, we haven't seen in our era of wrestling, our younger phases, if you will. But when done correctly, it's definitely a sight to be seen. There's just a few things that I want to bring up before we actually get into this WrestleMania here. And just a few fun facts. So, of course, WrestleMania 5 is happening from Atlantic City, New Jersey. Big fun fact here. It's actually set. Oh, my God, my phone fell. Holy shit. This actually
technical difficulties, baby.
Little technical difficulties on our end here. This WrestleMania set a record gate at $1.7 million. Of course, that would be scoffed at today in 2022. But at the time, this edged out WrestleMania 3 by a few thousand, so it was a pretty big deal at the time. Some outside of the WWF news here. We have some debuts this year of the likes of Booker T, Rey Mysterio, and Stone Cold Steve Austin himself. They are all making their debut in wrestling this year. Some of our kind of favorite wrestlers that we're growing up with are born this year, such as the likes of Bayley, Bianca Belair, Andrade El Idolo, Billy Kay, a fellow Aussie, and Adam Cole Bebe is also born this year. And last thing before we get into this Mania, we actually have a retirement, and I definitely wanted to bring this up here because it is the winner of the 1989 Royal Rumble, Big John Studd. And we're going to see Big John Studd on the card here tonight. He plays a big role in one of the matches, but I think it's pretty interesting that Big John Studd retires in 1989, so I wanted to bring that up. But nonetheless, that's all I have for the road to WrestleMania. Just some fun facts and a lot of stories going in, and I'm excited for this WrestleMania.
Dude, yeah, without further ado, is it time to get into the granddaddy of them all?
It is. Let's do it.
Welcome. This is I said. That's a new fucking word. This is
Way to
WrestleMania
start
5,
off.
baby. Way to start off. We're live, pal. We're live, pal. If you're in the live chat right now, we're not technically live, but we are live, kind of recording this. But this is WrestleMania 5, baby. Atlantic City, Trump Plaza, yet again, second year in a row. I was actually kind of surprised to see that. I don't know how many times WrestleMania's been in the same venue twice in a row. You know what I mean? So it was kind of off-putting to see. But hey, our good friend Donald Trump. No, anyway. So we get the Last Mania of the 1980s, which I thought was a nice little tidbit to write down. There's a cool intro where it says the MegaPowers explode here at WrestleMania 5 with Vince McMahon in the background talking, and we're greeted to Trump Plaza by Gorilla Monsoon, and then Howard Finkel out of nowhere goes, all right, yep, time to America the Beautiful time. All right, everyone get up, hand on chest, whatever, do the same. You know, the classic Mania tradition at this point. They have Rockin' Robin sing America the Beautiful. Anthony, you sent this to me. There was so many fucking technical difficulties with this goddamn performance. It was just bad. She didn't start singing. It was just bad. I think even Jesse Ventura said she better keep her daytime job. That fucking cracked me up. But I don't know about you, Anthony, but nothing beats the Ray Charles. Oh my god, I can't speak.
So many fucking so many wrong words tonight.
Hey, look, me fucking up, it makes sense because of how many fuck ups there are in this Mania. So it kind of checks out.
Very on brand, I will give you that.
Yeah, but dude, what do you think of this rendition of America the Beautiful?
Oh, it was awful. It was not good. It makes me wonder if this was another like fill-in for last minute, like first WrestleMania, whoever couldn't make it, that was never revealed. Now Rockin' Robin was
the women's champion, I believe, as well, right?
The women's champion had to sing. You know, who knows if she would have even had a match on the card in the first place. This is kind of when we start seeing the women's division not being taken as seriously as the first few Manias, but nonetheless, yeah, nothing touches Ray Charles, Aretha Franklin, absolutely nothing. And yeah, the video that I sent you, I don't know if it was different on the network, but that on Peacock, they completely just edited that out. Like there were technical difficulties. They play the music. Rockin' Robin is just not singing, and then they send it to Gorilla. And Jesse was bullshitting around. And then Fink just gets on the mic. We apologize for the technical difficulties. Now here is Rockin' Robin. And it's just, okay, here we go. But yes, it's not a good rendition. I'm very sorry, Rockin'.
So sorry, Rockin'. It was just not great. It was not good. But then that brings us to our first match. And it would be King Haku with Bobby the Brain Heenan in his corner versus Hercules. Now, Going into it, I was like, okay, we've seen a lot of Hercules Hernandez through the past Manias. He was a heel for the most part. He is a babyface here. I always like to write down whenever we see those shifts in the characters, because Hercules was one of your big takeaways from the last Mania, I believe, and he's just been kind of on your radar for a few of these Manias here and there. So yeah, good thing to point out here. But it is super different seeing Haku being presented this way as well. He's King Haku, and last Mania he was a part of the Islanders. So that was a cool thing to kind of, you know, tidbit there. Yep. But Heenan is getting this crowd fired up, like booing like crazy. This building is insanely loud, full of boos. They hate the heels, and it's great. So Hercules is also being treated as a huge babyface. I don't know, Anthony's gonna be happy about this. But he was also swinging that chain around, baby, and I would be fearing for my life if I was in that crowd and there was just a man swinging this chain around, because you could like go, it's a thick chain, it's a hefty chain, it looks like. That's right?
A big boy chain right there.
Yeah, dude. It's like that one. I can't remember the sport, but you know, you get the weighted ball and you just fucking kind of just chuck it. That's what it's kind of like.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I never knew what the name was, and I never cared to.
It's
know.
It's
but
on
Hercules
Mario
would be
Sonic
great
at
at
the
it.
Olympic Games. Yeah.
Yes.
If you had if you had a Nintendo Wii, you know what I'm talking about, or any game console in the 2010s, you know what I'm talking about here. But this is before our time. No one knows what a Nintendo Wii is watching this. Let's be honest. But Haku gets a sneak attack from behind on Hercules, and the match gets started right away. Gorilla Monsoon says Pearl Harbor, which was we need a Pearl Harbor Gorilla Monsoon counter at this point, I think. Hercules delivered such brutal looking elbows too. Like, it actually looked like it was like really like hurting the Haku, like genuinely on his like throat, on his fucking head. I was like, Jesus Christ, man. But maybe it was safe, and Hercules is just an amazing worker. I think I'm just gonna go with that. Hercules does a nice kind of German suplex, John Cena type move. Who fucking knows? Gets the pin, and Gorilla thinks both pairs of shoulders were down, and everyone commentary is kind of confused, and Jesse's like, no, I think his shoulders were, and then the match is ended. So I thought this was a pretty alright match. I kind of gave this half because it wasn't bad, it wasn't great, it was kind of a match, it was average. I still enjoyed it, so I gave it a 2.5. Anthony, speak on this.
Honestly, I really enjoyed this match, and honestly, I think it's come down to the fact that Hercules Hernandez is just one of my boys. Like, I don't know why I love Hercules Hernandez. Everything that he has been a part of has been either decent to great. So I really enjoyed it. It had a slower pace to it than we're really accustomed to in these first Mania matches. Like, it's usually fast-paced, energy, bouncing off the ropes, but I feel like the slower pace and the power moves make the bigger moments stand out. And there were some really good big moments that I'll get to in a second. I had to take some points off just because of some stalling. Like, there was a really long bear hug by Haku that just kind of took me out of it. And the ending stretch had a lot of really good moments here. You have the change of speed to what we're used to in a Mania match, obviously. And I think this is where a lot of the interest peaked. It's just these ending moments. Even the final pinfall, like, I know commentary was confused by it, but when you look in that the replay, Hernandez got that shoulder up. So luckily we get a win for Hercules here. Haku sells really well. Hercules gets some good emotion in, and I like Heenan's inclusion on the outside. So I gave it a 2. I think it was just a solid Mania opener. I feel like every Mania opener I've given like a 2 so far, which kind of, as long as it gets you going, I think that's the perfect reasoning for a Mania opener. So I have to give it a 2.
Yeah, this was a perfect match to get the crowd kind of into it, especially when you have Heenan kind of amping up the crowd, getting the boos loudly going. That's what you kind of want. You kind of want that energy throughout the first match, so then people know what they're getting into, right? So it kind of sets the whole mood of the Mania. But let's not fret, because we've got another match to get into. Let's breeze through these motherfuckers. Yeah, baby. We got the Twin Towers versus the Rockers. Now, this is our first Shawn Michaels appearance on Wrestlemania. Now, he would be known to be Mr. Wrestlemania, and he's also even in the video graphic for our Mr. Mania little video clip. So, it's our first appearance of Shawn Michaels being here. And it's pretty insane, pretty freaking cool to think. And One Man Gang is also now Akeem for some fucking reason. I don't know what happened there. That's just that's just not the biggest shift we've ever seen in before our time history. No way. That is. It just is though. One Man Gang. You have this badass looking guy, dude, and now he just dances. He's what's his name? Brutus Clay. That's literally exactly what his gimmick what happened to his gimmick. He was a mean badass heel. He's African Brutus Clay, dude. He was a mean badass. Brutus Clay was a mean. These both were mean badasses, and then they're just dancing around the goddamn ring. So take that what you will. If I was 5 years old, I might have liked Akeem, but I'm not 5 years old. I'm 3 years old, so I don't like Akeem. Anyway,
I'm 4.
Dude, I wanna say here as well, Shawn Michaels going into this match, I was super excited to see it, and he threw out like great offense. There was a great drop kick by Shawn Michaels. I wanted to, yeah, baby, look at him go, dude. It was a great drop kick by Shawn Michaels. I wrote here, One Man Gang dancing was just horrible. It was just bad. You know, if it's something I make light of in my notes, that it's something worth talking about, whether it's good or bad. This was fucking awful. Oh my god. But anyway, Big Boss Man gets tagged in, and Akeem and him squash Jannetty, and the crowd is loud with boos. They're cutting the ring in half. There's a lot of great tag team stuff going in here. But Mighty Jannetty outsmarts the Twin Towers and gets the hot tag onto Michaels. Michaels launches off the top rope, and Boss Man turns it into this really nice powerbomb. I don't know if you caught it, but it was kind of like a spine buster in the way that you would turn. But, he's just like a kind of spinning kind of powerbomb. It was really fucking cool how it worked out. It was just super clean, the execution of it. So I thought that was something to make light of. And then Akeem tags in, does a huge ass squash, and then just gets the win. So I gave this a 2. It was, I didn't want to put this on the same kind of level as Haku and Hercules, just because it was a match, but I think I enjoyed it a little bit less just because I did not care for Akeem. I did like some of the offense that Michaels and Jannetty was getting in though, so maybe that was, I think that's why I gave it a 2, but you gave it a 2.5. What do you think of this match?
Another match on this card so far that I love, and I think this, obviously because of my rating, 2.5, I love this even more than the previous match. I think this also just factors into the just the idea of tag team wrestling in the 80s has just been so good. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know what's in the water with these tag teams, but they're going bonkers. And, this is the first time that we see both of these tag teams at Mania. And the Rockers, I was so looking forward to seeing them, especially Shawn. They cut a promo beforehand that Shawn does really good with. Shawn even throws in a little moonwalk. I don't know if you caught that, but he gives a little moonwalk earlier in the match, which I thought was funny. And really just a great power versus speed match. Like, they did everything that they could with Akeem. Like, obviously, he's so immovable. Like, you can tell he just does not like to run. So he did not run whatsoever in this match. He was very slow, but the Rockers made him look good. But at the same time, he made the Rockers look really good in certain points. His selling for a big man was, pretty decent. I wrote in my notes, just like the Rockers sold their asses off for the Twin Towers. There's a certain moment here that I actually want to get to that it perfectly exemplifies like the great selling of Shawn Michaels. Like, we always joke about, like, Shawn Michaels selling for Hogan in SummerSlam 2005, like over the top. But there are some moments in this match in particular. You mentioned the power bomb, but I want to bring in my favorite moment from this match. And again, words can't put into, just sheer, what am I trying to say? I can't put into words just how great of a spot this is. So, of course, we have to call on a friend to do so. So here is my favorite moment from this match. One of the most brutal moments of this match by way of
AlfredVision.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
That was the most flagrant double teaming I've seen in a long while. Jess, we have one test rule for you today. If you want to be another one, relax. Oh, what a show! I believe he irritated the king. He certainly did. He almost decapitated him.
I believe he irritated Akeem, says Jesse Ventura. And he is most definitely right. That was an excellent clothesline. Great selling from Sean. Had to highlight that in our AlfredVision. Yeah, just both teams made each other look great. There's a little bit too much interference from Jannetty in this match. I feel like, they could have just kept them separate, but Jannetty was just jumping in that ring, making sure that Sean was never solely by himself, which I get. It's like a small guy versus big guy thing, but a little bit too much. And what I did want to mention here is the fact that we are seeing the Wrestling Observer newsletter Tag Team of the Year rockers. I should mention that. Caught on that they were voted Tag Team of the Year. And honestly, you could probably see why in this match. They do a really great job here. And a little fun fact for you, Shawn Michaels, we're ranting and raving about this man. Did you know he was hungover in this match? He got into a fight with his then wife at the time. After the fact, he went to the bar with Marty Jannetty, and they drank until 4 a.m. the night before WrestleMania. My man was popping energy pills, downing coffee right before his match, and he was able to pull out an amazing sell job for the Twin Towers. Don't know how it happened, but props to him. Gave it 2.5 idols.
Dude, the 80s were a different time. Everyone was just doing fucking everything. They were doing everything all at once, no matter if they had Mania the next night. But yeah, man, overall, I enjoyed this match thoroughly. Pretty decent match. Let's get into the next match here. We have Brutus, the Barber Beefcake, versus
Our
Ted
boy.
DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. Yeah, going into this, I was excited because Ted DiBiase and Brutus Beefcake, some of our highlighted, wrestlers from these past Manias. We've really enjoyed some of their work.
Yeah.
I was going into this, I was really excited. There's a backstage segment with Tony Giovanni, which I thought was cool. Our first little, I think, scene of Tony Giovanni at all in WrestleMania history, maybe is in here. So that's pretty cool. And now he's commentating for AEW. I love my little tone zone. He's a little cherry on top of the cake.
A little tone zone.
But
That's a new one.
Tone Zone does an interview with Ted DiBiase and Virgil, and I think this might be the first time we see the $1 Million title here at WrestleMania. I don't know. I don't think he's had it at previous WrestleManias. I don't know if this was where he debuted the title or anything. I don't know anything about that, but I just know it's the first time we've seen it before our time.
I think he debuts it this year, but I don't know when exactly he did it. It was probably earlier on in the year.
Yeah, that's what I was guessing as well. But going into this match, Gorilla Monsoon was pronouncing Brutus's name as Brutai.
Oh, he's been doing this the last few Manias, and it's been pissing me off. This man insists on calling him Brutai. I'm like, dude, us, Brutus. Where's the I come in? Gorilla, you're killing me here.
I think Gorilla Monsoon's trying to be quirky, and it's just not working. Go back to hot topic, Gorilla Monsoon. No one wants it. Okay, go be quirky and hot topic, and go be an alternative fucking scene girl. Okay.
Join Jeff Hardy and start wearing your fishnets and your baggy jeans.
Yeah. Oh, we don't want to join Jeff Hardy in anything.
Yeah.
But there's a nice exchanging of shots here between the two wrestlers. Virgil doing some nice heel manager work, grabbing the leg of Brutus, when he's running onto the ropes and stuff like that. Just classic stuff. DiBiase sinks in the $1 Million Dream, but Beefcake is fighting it and reaches to the ropes. Crowd is losing it. They love Brutus Beefcake here. Beefcake chases Virgil out of the ring, and Ted and Beefcake just start brawling on the outside, and the ref rings the bell. I'm confused here, and the outcome of the match is a double countout. That resulted in a double countout. They make their way back into the ring. Brutus grabs the shears and chases away DiBiase and Virgil. And I wrote during this match, the crowd was kind of dead throughout this thing. I don't know if you noticed that as well. I gave this 2. This, again, wasn't a bad match. I kind of enjoyed it for the most part, but the crowd was kind of dead. It took away some of the kind of pizzazz in this match. What do you think about this?
Dude, the crowd just wasn't dead during this match. It's a trend throughout the night. The crowd is just dead. Like, they wake up in some moments. Like, there are some guys that they like that they'll cheer for, but like, Atlantic City sucks. Like, they are sitting on their hands during the entire night. They wake up during the main event. They wake up during a few of these matches, but this is a perfect example of how the crowd just brings this shit down. I was excited to see our boy Brutus cutting and strutting. My Mr. Mania from last year, Ted DiBiase, but these two just mixed like water and oil. It was in just slow motion the entire match. Just did not like it. Really nothing of note in this match outside of a few nice hope spots from Brutus, or Bruti, if you will. He starts the match off really well, and DiBiase does a good job of slowing down the pace, as we saw from Last Mania. But like, Brutus just doesn't match his energy. Like, usually when you have DiBiase as the heel that's like, taking the pace down and, working the rest holds and everything, like, you need that energetic baby face. And Brutus just really doesn't do it, or at least he doesn't get the time to do so. And then the finish was just the cherry on top. Like, this match was so not good. I gave it 1 idol, and that is like, it's a generous 1 idol at that. Really, it was because of DiBiase just doing what he can to pull out a good match here. But yeah, I wasn't really feeling this one.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on this, man. I generously gave it to... I gave the stars both to just, like, being a fan of both of these wrestlers. But just, yeah, like you said, they mix like water and oil. They just don't go together. They're incompatible. They're like chocolate and a dog. Okay, maybe that's... let's not... I'm not going to use that analogy anymore. Anyway, water and oil, don't mix. Next match. Next match.
Well, no, what are you doing moving on to the next match? We need to address the humongous elephant in the room. I texted you last night. I told you you are going to love this WrestleMania. And there's one key reason why we love this WrestleMania. Do you want to do the honors and introduce the man of the hour?
I would love to. His lordship, Alfred Hayes. Beautiful.
He's back.
Look at him.
Dude, I was so happy to hear this man's voice. Like, I'm looking on my phone, right? I'm waiting for the next match. Like, the Bushwhackers are going to come out. And then all of a sudden, thank you, Gorilla. I'm now sitting here with the Bushwhackers as they get ready for their match with the Rougeos. And I'm like, holy shit. I was not expecting to see this man. Welcome back, Alfred Hayes. Welcome back.
Welcome back. It's been a long time. We haven't seen your beautiful face around here for quite some time, Alfred. And look, Alfred, while we have you here as well and before our time, I just want to say, like how I've just turned this into it. Anyway, I want to say, I get mad and I get angry and I throw things at my wall and I punch my doors and stuff like that when you're not on my screen. So just FYI, just, keep that in mind next time you're not on a Mania. There's a wall in my house getting broken. Thanks very much.
If you ever see me crying and sobbing, I'm sure you can see me through my computer. Or if you're, the ghost of Alfred Hayes is looking down on me. If you ever see me crying alone in my room in the fetal position, or on my floor, just, spread across screaming, "Why, Alfred? Why didn't you come?" Just remember that for next time. Anyways, Rougeau brothers versus the Bushwhackers. Yay!
Oh, yay. What a... Dude, it was just we were at such a high just then. And to just bring it down to the lowest of fucking lows right now, we got the Rougeau brothers, the fabulous Rougeau brothers, versus the Bushwhackers. I didn't know the Bushwhackers were from New Zealand. I should have known this whole thing. I'm in that area. I'm in that space. What am I doing not knowing about this? And they're crazy. They're doing the whole walking thing. And there's people in the crowd doing it. It's whatever. It's not enjoyable. I gave this 1 out of 5. Anyway, I believe the last time we saw the Rougeau brothers as well, they were faces. Here they are as heels, as the fabulous Rougeau brothers. I was half paying attention during this match, but the Bushwhackers deliver a double team move and get the pin on I wrote Rougeau brother 1, and Rougeau brother 2 was too slow to break it up because I just did not fucking remember these guys' names. So there we go.
Dude, this was very bad. And it sucks because I like the Rougeau brothers a lot. Their last match with, I don't know if they were there for Mania 4, but I know that they had a match against the Dream Team. That's where the Dream Team, split up. But I like the Rougeaus. I like that they're heels now and they have more of an edge to them. They got Jimmy Hart with them. So I was excited to see them. And then, like, once I saw that the Bushwhackers were going to be their opponents, I was like, all right, like, this isn't going to be a great match. But I don't know. This match seemed like it ended weird. Like it definitely was not supposed to end this way. Like one of the Rougeau brothers, like I feel like he was late to kick, the Bushwhacker off or whatever. Maybe it was supposed to happen that way.
There's a slow-mo replay that they show after the match, and it's like you can see that was just not supposed to happen. I feel like he was in at just the last second to break it up and was too late. Ref counted to the 3. So yeah,
it took away from the drama of the match for me personally. I liked what I saw from the Rougeaus. They are much better as heels than they are faces, but like regardless, it was a pretty bad match. I gave it half an idol, and that's really because of the Rougeaus. You're going to see a lot of my ratings, like matches that I should give duds, I give a few points because of like one guy or one team. And the Rougeaus do as much as they can to carry the Bushwhackers here. But it wasn't enough. I'll give it half an idol.
Yeah, man, and I give it 1 idol. Dude, these rankings so far in this episode, they've been kind of half and half. They've been here and there, but this is a running theme throughout this Mania, so fucking strap in, guys. Oh my god. Anyway, let's get into the next match, which is a fun little one, I thought. We have Mr. Perfect, our first Mania appearance from Mr. Perfect. He would be kind of synonymous and iconic with Mania throughout the next few years. So, and our first appearance of Owen Hart or Blue Blazer here, which I thought was really cool. So, going into this, I did not see the match cards for this Mania. And when, Blue Blazer came out, I was like, oh shit, I'm actually really excited for this. So, I was pumped for this. I gave it 3 out of 5, not 3.5. Oh my god, I'm talking out my ass here. I gave it 3 out of 5. And I wrote here, this match is ref by the late, great Tim White, who recently passed away this year. Bless up, big man.
Good call.
But
good catch there.
Yeah, dude, I was like, oh, he looks familiar. Oh, that's Tim White. So, good to see him on here as well. But to get this match started off, Blue Blazer does a backflip off the top rope. And, in his entrance, and Gorilla goes, oh, a 360! There's a lot of backflips in this whole Mania, and then Gorilla Monsoon just refers to them as 360s. It's great. Oh, a 360! And they were saying on commentary, Jesse Ventura and Gorilla, that there's rumors backstage of the identity of Blue Blazer. So that's circulation. That's kind of in the story of here, I guess, going into this as well. There's some great offense by Owen right here. It's Owen. He's like just ahead of his time in general. I feel like calling him Owen here. I feel silly calling him Blue Blazer, but some of the prettiest drop kicks you've ever seen in this fucking match, dude. Owen Hart delivers some great shit in here. Dude, I love a good drop kick here and there. I praised Shawn Michaels for doing a nice drop kick. I'm praising Owen Hart. Okada, I love his drop kicks. You know what I mean? Just to name a few. I'm a big drop kick guy, I've noticed. So maybe because I am a drop kick myself. And I don't know if you have that term in America, but that's when someone doesn't graduate
when someone
high school.
Burps into the mic? Is that what a drop kick is?
It's when someone burps into the mic. So consider myself a drop kick. Okay, I'm a drop kick through and through. But Jesse Ventura shout outs, which he did last minute because we're in Atlantic City. He shouts out Terry, Tyrell, Jake, and Jeremiah again, which he did last Mania. I don't know if you picked up on that. He just shouts out random people.
I want to shout out Terry, Jeremiah, and this person too.
Exactly. And this person too, Gorilla. But Mr. Perfect executes a perfect plex, scores a pinfall. I thought this match did everything it needed to do. It wasn't too slow, I didn't think. Like, what you got from this match, however long it was, you got a lot in it, I thought. And I thought it did everything it needed to do. Which some of these matches I can say as well. for it. But yeah, I thought this was great. I gave this 3 out of 5. Anthony, what did you think about this match?
Another match that I was like, because I didn't really do a lot of I didn't watch a lot of build to this match. Usually I'll watch the WrestleMania report where they run down the matches. This time I went in with no knowledge of anything except for the main event. So once I see Mr. Perfect come out, I'm like, all right, this is cool. Like, we got a Mr. Perfect match. I wonder who's going up against. Then I see fucking Blue Blazer come out, and I'm like, yep, this is going to be good. And I love that Gorilla hypes up how good of a match this is. And Ventura too does it. They hype up you're going to see high paced action and, fast energy and all of this. Like, they're really hyping up that this match is going to be good. So, they do what they can. And, I think it was a little bit too fast at some points, but you can only do so much with the time that you're given. And that's really where a lot of I wanted to give it 3 so badly, but I had to give it 2.5 because it was pretty short. They get a lot of stuff in, but if they would have spread that out amongst a few more minutes, I feel like you're looking at 3, maybe 3.5. Perfect does a really great job slowing things down, just being the heel here. And that's really important because, Blue Blazer is really the guy who's, picking up the energy, doing all the high energy action. So Perfect being that kind of antithesis to him. Is that the word? Antagonist, antithesis, whatever the fuck it's called. Him being the opposite of Blue Blazer was a really important role for him here. And he just sells for Blazer perfectly, pun intended. A lot of near falls that really kept the match close, kept my interest in it, and a beautiful perfect plex to end the match. And we can actually check that out right now by way of
AlfredVision.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
The Blazer was questioning the referee about the count. Perfect saw the opening and got it in. I'm questioning the count a little bit myself. Uh-oh, here it comes. Cradle suplex for X. No. That's the perfect plex. And he got it. They certainly did. Perfect plex indeed. Let's go to Howard. Here is your winner, Mr.
Dude, Howard Finkel with the
Love the
high-pitched
high-pitch.
voice is hilarious, dude. I did not expect
It's so good.
And the winner of this match.
No, that's the perfect plex. So great. I love Jesse Ventura. If there's anything else that I've learned from this stretch of 5 WrestleManias, Gorilla Monsoon, Jesse Ventura, I love them before we started this show, but I have gotten such an appreciation for them. Especially in these last 2 Manias, they've really started firing on all ends when it's just them two. I think that was really what kicked them, really made them as great as they are. Of course they've been great all 5 Manias, but these 2 Manias, they've really been hitting off. I think it's because they finally got rid of all the other celebrities and they just focused in on those 2. So just another little tidbit there that I picked up on, but. Yeah, fucking commentary sells this match great. Get a perfect flex to end the match. Gave it 2.5 stars or idols, whatever you want to call them. But solid, really a strong 2.5 idols, if you will.
Yeah, of course. And you bring up Jesse Ventura, and that's very funny that you brought it up here very conveniently because after this match ends, Howard Finkel introduces Jesse Ventura. And he does one of those things where he just kind of stands there and the crowd cheers him. He's done it for the past couple Manias, and it's just funny each time. Each time he does it, I love him each time. I'm not even making any sense because I've got Jesse Ventura in the brain, you know what I'm saying? But I wrote here, I want a Jesse Ventura Elite figure. I don't know why we haven't gotten one in his Mania attires, and his where it's this ridiculous fucking clothing. I would love a figure of that. I think there's a Jax figure, but give me the Mattel stuff. Give me the Mattel goodies.
Yeah.
And
I love that during the Blue Blazer match, he's also hyping it up to Gorilla. He's like, I got a surprise for you after this match. And I'm thinking what's gonna happen? And then it's just, ladies and gentlemen, Jesse the Bunny Ventura, and he does his pose. So just
Yeah.
He's done it every Mania so far. Well, not every, but like the last 3 Manias. And it's like, fuck it.
It feels like
Just
every
give
Mania,
him-
and
give
it
him
feels like it
spotlight.
should be every Mania, including the recent years. I
Yes.
want Jesse Ventura coming out in WrestleMania 40, WrestleMania 39, all of them, please. Thank
When
you
we
so much.
get to WrestleMania 39, if we don't see Jesse Ventura at least once on WWE programming, we're going to have a problem. He better be at WrestleMania 39 just getting his entrance. That's all I'll say.
Hey, WWE's legal team, if you're watching this, that Anthony means business, okay? So just keep that in mind. But after that, after the business talk, we got another segment with Alfred, Lord Alfred Hayes, which is awesome. And Mr. Fuji does like a 5K run. This was so weird. I don't know if you caught this as well. I really want a clip of this, but Mr. Fuji starts the race like 2 seconds ahead of everyone else. And he's running really slowly, and then you just see a crowd of people just
Gets
running
trampled.
right past him. Gets trampled. It's like the Stampede scene in The Lion King. It was like just as depressing and as hilarious as that. So, he actually finishes the race in kayfabe, I guess. I don't know if he really finished a 5K race. Good on you. I fucking couldn't, Mr. Fuji. So that was that, and then Run DMC performed the WrestleMania rap.
God.
Okay. I wrote, what? Question mark? I wrote,
Well, I
that was
wished
my-
I
that
could
was
know
one of
what
my-
they were
that was my
saying
first
because
note.
the mics were just awful. Like you could not hear anything that
man.
these guys were saying. And I actually wrote a little rap of my own. If you would let me, lay this down for you real quick.
Please.
Here's my rap. There's no hip hop little sounds here on StreamYard. I wish there was a little hip hop thing here, but regardless,
How about
here
this?
we
I
go.
beatbox. How about this?
Yeah, go for it. Here we go.
Yo,
Yo, listen. My name is Anthony. I'm here to say Run DMC sucked on WrestleMania. I hated this segment. It wasn't very good. Yada, yada, yada. Let's move on to the next segment. Yo, the Acclaim have arrived.
Yeah. Atlantic City. But yeah, this was sensory overload to say the fucking least, man. The mics were so awful. The music was so just fucking washed and everything. I couldn't hear even what the rapping was, but I don't know if Peacock has this, but I remember there was closed captions on the network. I put closed captions on, and even they didn't know what the fuck was happening. They kept the amount of times I saw the words indistinct with brackets was amazing. Even the fucking closed captions, the thing that
Indistinct.
you know, the thing that exactly indistinct. That's the new theme song of Before Our Time. But you know, closed captions, what they're meant to do, its only job is to decipher what the words being spoken are. It had one job. It couldn't. It just
Couldn't even do it.
Okay, and we know how well automatic closed captions are nowadays. They're fucking amazing. Their technology's great. Had no clue what the fuck it was saying. I love Run DMC, but what the fuck? Anyway,
Run
let's get
DMC
on
just
to
transcends technology of even technology can't decipher what Run DMC is saying.
Exactly, man. But dude, intro us into the next match, Anthony. Let's get into it.
Let's do it. This is one of our 3 championship matches on the card, and it is for the WWF Tag Team Championships.
Demolition versus the Powers of Pain and Mr. Fuji.
Oh yeah, Mr. Fuji. Love myself some Mr. Fuji, but
Mr. Fuji.
we have a video package of how we got here, and it includes Lord Alfred on commentary. Dude, keep him on commentary. He's so amazing.
Dude,
I love
for
him.
sure.
Avalanche. But I wrote here in capital letters, "Here comes the Axe, here comes the Smash."
Banger theme
I remember,
song.
dude, I wasn't familiar with Demolition. I think I had one of the WWE 2012 games, I think. And I think Axe and Demolition was on it, and I just remember hearing that theme, and I was like, this is a fucking banger.
Yeah.
Like little 10, 11-year-old me just vibing out to Demolition's theme. It's great. But Warlord and Axe start us off in this match. There's 4 powerhouses in here. and Mr. Fuji. So that if you want to count Mr. Fuji
So
as a
5
powerhouse, go
powerhouses.
ahead. 5 powerhouses. He finished a 5K run for 5 powerhouses, baby. There we go. It fits perfectly. But Demolition are cutting the ring in half. We've seen this from Demolition before. Past Mania, they were doing this. We brought it up, made light of it as well. Mr. Fuji getting some offense in, headbutts some dude's crotch. I don't know what's happening. But Fuji goes to the top rope and dives, but Axe rolls out of the way. Fuji got trapped for the double team finisher by Demolition, and then Demolition just retain the tag team titles. This match happened. I gave this 1.5. What do you think of this?
I also gave it 1.5. I feel like this was like you go into this Mania and you see, Demolition. They're, I guess, arguably the most popular tag team in the WWF at this point. Powers of Pain, they're kind of on the uprise. So you're expecting a really good match here. And you just don't get it. Like maybe I don't know what went wrong here. Maybe it was a mix of like the crowd not really being into it. I feel like they got decent amount of time, but maybe they could have gotten some more time. I don't know. I think it was an okay tag match at best. I will say there's some little details here that I caught on to. I love the explanation of how Demolition let Mr. Fuji be in the match because they feel that he is much more dangerous outside the ring than he is inside the ring. Like that's just a perfect example of, letting Mr. Fuji be in this match. But at the same time, like they did a pretty good job in building up Mr. Fuji. I'm surprised by this because usually we've seen so far, like, Danny Davis, Bobby Heenan, like kind of personalities getting in the ring. And obviously they're just treated as like, throwaway guys. But Mr. Fuji, like they build him up. They say that he's, a former tag team champion. He's getting some good offense in, a lot of good chops, a headbutt to the balls. Like, he gets a lot of good stuff in. So I'm happy that we see Mr. Fuji being somewhat of a threat. You can't really make him that much of a threat here. But Smash gets a good hot tag, a great hot tag, I should say. He really goes all in on the energy here. You mentioned it. Powers of Pain cut the ring in half. And I don't know. Powers of Pain really just don't do much for me. Like this was all Demolition 100%. It was a fine match at best, but I feel like it could have been a lot more than it was.
Yeah. And I think, 1.5 is a pretty fair rating for this because there wasn't much meat on the bone. Wasn't much sustenance, but you were bringing up something about threat. Mr. Fuji's a threat more outside of the ring than in the ring. You know what else is a threat? This next fucking match. Let's get into this. It is Ronnie. What is it? Rugged Ronnie, fucking whatever the hell. Dino Bravo.
Rugged Ronnie Garvin.
And oh man, before this match even happens, Tony Giovanni's trying to talk with Macho Man in the back. Macho Man is furious, unhinged, and is ready for Hogan.
Macho's fucking pissed. He's ready to go. Once I saw that, I was ready for the main event.
Yeah, dude, legit. I wanted to just skip through the fucking main event. I wish I could, because this happened. So
fucking this happened.
So Dino Bravo, Ronnie's already in the ring. Dino Bravo has his entrance. I didn't even know. I have no idea what the flag is that Dino's manager is waving around. That's definitely not the Canadian flag. There's fucking no clue what that is.
I'm sure Tyler is going to let us know what the flag is, but I have no. It's some type of Canadian. Montreal. I don't fucking know.
It's the Justin Trudeau flag. There you go. That's all I know about Canada. That's it. I'm so sorry, Tyler. I love you to pieces, little baby bits. But why is Jimmy Snuka here? Jimmy Snuka has his own entrance after Dino Bravo. Wait, so let me get this straight. So both competitors for this match are in the ring at this point, and then Jimmy Snuka returns to the WWF. But what? Why?
So Jimmy Snuka, like he made his return here. I don't know why they decided to pick right now. It's almost like they said, "All right, Jimmy Snuka is going to return at 9:30 on the dot. Whatever happens, they could be in the middle of a match. Jimmy Snuka needs to be in the ring at 9:30." I don't know what time we were at here, but
he's got a bedtime at 9:40.
Yeah, both guys make their entrances. and they're just like, again, Howard Finkel, ladies and gentlemen, here's Jimmy Snuka, and he just walks in and walks out. Like, I don't know why they decided right now was the perfect time to do this, but you know what? This was the one redeeming factor of this match, because well, you'll get into this, thankfully, but this was not good.
I didn't have many notes to write on this match because I did not want to spend too much time on this, because I feel like spending too much time. I already spent too much time watching it, and it wasn't even that long of a match. So Dino's on the offense for most of this. Dino's patented sidewalk slam gets the pinfall in familiar fashion. Kill me. I gave this a dud. This is my first dud of the night, and definitely not our last that we'll see here on this episode. So guys, stay tuned. But dude, this was just not a great match. I would love to move on whenever you feel comfortable.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely move on. I could care less about this match. There was no heat behind it. We got the Garvin stomp after the match. That was great, but it's time to move on.
Oh yeah, it is time to move on, and we have one of my favorite matches of the night. We actually have Brainbusters versus Strikeforce. I gave this a 3.5. I enjoyed this thoroughly. There was a lot of similarities that I pointed between FTR and Brainbusters. I mean, that's obvious that there would be similarities before then, but I always knew FTR was a kind of model of 80s wrestling, right? Like that older kind of wrestling. But to see Brainbusters in action here, you really get to feel it, and you get to see it as well. And you get to burp about it if that's what you're all about. That's what I'm all about. You really get to feel it there.
You get to taste it, if you will.
You really get to feel it there. If you're burping about it, it's a good match. But yeah, there's some great similarities here. So I was really excited going into this. Arn and Tully both in AEW right now manager position, so I thought it was really cool. Tully more Ring of Honor, but that's a topic for another day. So straight off the bat,
Tully's out of Ring of Honor. He's out of here. But Arn is still
right.
Here,
Prince Nana bought Tully Enterprises or whatever the hell. I was high as shit when I watched that pay-per-view. I don't know what was happening most of the time. Prince Nana came out. I was like, what the fuck? Where am I?
Shout out Prince Nana.
Straight up Prince Nana. Straight off the bat, we have a great lockup, and I'm gearing up for some great tag team wrestling here. I've mentioned this before. I've mentioned this before our time episode. Tag team wrestling, I'm all about it, especially in the 80s, man. Something just about it. Especially Strikeforce. We know how great Strikeforce are, as well as Arn and Tully. So going into this, I was super excited for it. They're taking it slow when they need to, and I thought that was great. There's a test of strength, like pin going on, and they took their time with it. Arn and I believe it was Rick Martel just taking their time with it, and they weren't rushing. They weren't doing anything. Martel sinks in the Boston Crab, and Tully just thumbed to the eye to Martel. Tito tags in to figure four leg lock. The figure four leg lock is applied to both Tully and Arn in the ring, and the crowd's loving this. You know, we have a double figure four going on in the middle of the ring. You know, it was great. They eventually break out of it. There's a great wrestling sequence that kind of turns into a pin. They bridge up insanely smooth, and I'm seeing a lot of just modern day wrestling in this match. I don't know about you, but just a lot of the great stuff about this match I see, like, even nowadays, and that just kind of holds up to how great some of this stuff is. Tito Santana, though, knocks Rick Martel accidentally, which lets Tully and Arn have the upper hand. Gorilla said he caught him in midair on something, and Arn was quite obviously just still on the top rope. I think Tito Santana was like this, you know, just kind of, you know, places his hands on Arn, and Gorilla Monsoon says in midair, which was just not the case. But I'll let it slide. Gorilla Monsoon, you've been doing good this Mania, so I'll let it slide. Martel doesn't tag himself in when Tito really needs it, and Rick Martel just leaves ringside, infuriated. Thinks Tito Santana hit him on purpose and is completely just... We'll talk about a promo that happens after this match, but Tito is fighting for his life during this match. It's now a 2-on-1. It's a handicap. But there's a spike pile driver by the Brainbusters on Tito Santana to eventually finish the match. I gave this 3.5 out of 5. You gave this 2 out of 5. Let me know what you thought of this match.
Yeah, like looking back on it, I probably underrated it. I should have given it like maybe 2.5, but really what takes me out of like giving it a higher rating is just the fact that like a lot of this was built around obviously the Strike Force breaking up. Um, I feel like if you maybe did it after the match or, did something, maybe I would, give it more of a higher rating just because you knew that you were going to get a great match out of these guys. But because it was built around, and I'm not saying like building it around an angle is bad whatsoever. Like, I think this was the perfect way to go about it. But I think that kind of harms the quality of the match. And like I've been saying since the start, like I'm really more focusing on like the in-ring action. That's why a lot of these like iconic matches are getting such low ratings because, well, fucking Andre the Giant is mad slow. More on that in a little bit. But regardless,
the Giant's signature move is getting caught in the ropes.
Yeah, exactly. So what was I going to mention here? Oh, let me talk about the match a little bit. Holy shit. The Rick Martel punches going back and forth when he's in the corner were amazing. That alone just tacked on a star right there because he was going Arn. It was going to Telly. Arn. It was really great. Overall, I thought it was just a good match, but working around that story, kind of hurt it a little bit. But I really like how they went about it. And the Brainbusters, like we've already mentioned, Arn and Tully, they worked really well together. Excellent heel offense. And like you can really see, like you mentioned FTR, and I think that goes without saying, like, especially when FTR heels, like, you catch when, they do like a heel kind of cheap move or something like, hold the leg or something, or do a quick jab or something like that. And you can tell that they have studied the Brainbusters more than you can possibly fathom. That is why, or probably a good reason as to why they were voted the Pro Wrestling Illustrated Tag Team of the Year. The Brainbusters were, rightfully so. I don't know how many times they were given these awards, but I'm sure it was a good amount of times. And a quick fun fact before we get into this post-match promo, Rick Martel was actually having trouble getting back into the U.S. for this Mania. So they were talking about how this was Rick Martel's return match. He was away for a while, and he was in Canada, and he was having visa issues in Canada, and he barely made it just in time for WrestleMania. So this is another instance of wrestlers almost missing the show. We saw it with Bobby Heenan at WrestleMania 2, that they said you're here or you're fired, which I think is ridiculous. But who knows what would have happened if Rick Martel was not in attendance for this Mania. But what did happen was a great heel turn and an even fiery promo after the fact with Mean Gene in the back. And let's hear from the man himself by way of
AlfredVision.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, he just got what he deserved. I'm sick and tired of him. I'm sick and tired of playing him around. I was doing great when ever since I've been coming to WWF as a single wrestler. But no, Mr. Tito wants to ride my coattail once more. But I'm sick and tired of him. I've been carrying him around for too long already. Wait, Martel, you're out of line. Strike Force was supposed to be a team. I don't want to be associated with that guy. He's a loser. You saw his timing was way off. You're lucky that I'm being a gentleman that I am. I just walked out. I could have been a lot worse for you, Tito.
Take a breath. Holy shit, Rick. I gotta tell you.
That's how he sounded in the actual promo. We did no pitch work there. That's all how he sounded like in the actual match.
Yes, 100%. Mean Gene too. He was really going over the top with that helium. He was sucking on that helium. They replaced steroids with helium in the 80s right here.
The helium trial, bro.
The helium trial.
God, this is hilarious. It's just like the courtroom sketch of Hulk Hogan just with a balloon or some shit. So that was that. Howard Finkel then says there's a special attraction for WrestleMania 5. It's time for Piper's Pit, and I did not know that we'd have a Piper's Pit on this.
Good night, everyone. Done. Not talking about this. Good night.
Yeah.
Have fun, Nick. You can break this one down.
Yeah. Okay. So, Bruce Pritchard, aka Brother Motherfucking Love, the most red man I've ever seen, the most red in the face I've ever fucking seen anyone in my life. I'll be honest. And I just did not like this. I'll be honest. And it wasn't because of Roddy Piper. It was because of everyone else involved in this. Roddy Piper was doing fun. He was making jokes. He was roasting, and he was getting me laughing. But Morton Downey Jr. just fucking sucks. Fucking Bruce Pritchard sucks. This all sucked. Anyway, I would have rather seen Jesse Ventura be introduced to WrestleMania another 5 times, is what I wrote here. So, Anthony, you can come back now.
Okay, is it clear?
Yeah,
Can I come back in now?
We're clear. Yeah. Please, I need some help on this.
Fuck this segment. This was the worst thing. Okay, look, I know a lot of like you older fans are gonna sit here and you're gonna say, I miss the days when WrestleMania wasn't 5 hours long. I miss the days when you had great wrestling and there wasn't any of these pointless segments. You're going to sit here and tell me that Roddy Piper and Morton Downey Jr. and Brother Love for 20 minutes screams.
Was this 20 minutes?
This was
20 minutes? I watched 20 minutes of this shit.
This was 20 minutes of... I don't even... What did I even write in my notes here? I wrote, Bruce Pritchard is here. He's got a funny Piper impression. This segment sucks. Piper is doing anything he can to save this. Someone in the crowd just screamed, "This is stupid." I think this was the worst thing that we've seen so far. I hate this segment with a burning passion. I have an Alfred vision of this that I want to show of just the ending because I feel like we have to. I can't. After this, we got to move because I can't be talking about this. But fucking, anyways, by way of
AlfredVision.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Would you mind just light up one of them puppies and give it on over to old Hot Rod here, would you? Do that for me. Yo, Mr. Downey, give me that smoke, would ya? Yeah! Yeah!
He gave him that smoke, I guess. Anyway,
That's all you needed to see. This it's out of 20 minutes. They could have just brought out Roddy Piper and Morton Downey. All we would have gotten. But here we
are. What do we do? What do we do next? Next match, I guess. Fuck this shit.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's move on from this.
Okay, Andre the Giant and Jake Roberts. I gave this 1. This was awful. But before this, we actually had a sneak preview of the hit movie that was coming out this year. Actually, 1989, June the 2nd, released in the US. No Holds Barred, the greatest movie ever released. We got a sneak preview of that. I love how fucking bad this movie is. I don't know. Have you seen No Holds Barred, Anthony?
I haven't. You were mentioning it, for me to check this out, and I did not check it out, unfortunately. But I hear great things about this film. I didn't get any advertisements for this film. It must have been different on the network, but I hear excellent things about it. I mean, they got their own San Diego Comic-Con figure, so of course it's going to be great.
It's a so bad it's good movie. You know what I mean? It's just a fucking awful 80s cheesy movie. Definitely recommend watching it. It has nothing to do with this WrestleMania, so it's kind of a good thing that you didn't watch it. Anyway.
Sounds good.
Yeah, there's a Donald Trump interview somewhere. Yeah, whatever. But Jesse Ventura cuts a promo on Hulk Hogan for stealing the Hollywood spotlight from him. And I was like, here's my ultimate dream match. Hulk Hogan versus Jesse Ventura in 1989. They're both fiending for the spotlight.
Let me just mention this because I was telling this to Tyler and I was telling this to a few other people. The fact that we never got Jesse Ventura versus Hulk Hogan is a crime. Like, I know Jesse was injured. I know all that, but like we got like, I think it was at WrestleMania 2 when they kind of got into a little war of words. And like now with Ventura calling out Hogan, they must have been planning for something, and like plans fell through, because that is such a match that anyone would want to see. So I don't know how it didn't happen. I know Ventura was injured. He had back problems, or he had some type, I think blood clots or something of that nature. Damn, such a missed opportunity.
Yeah, definitely, dude. I was like, what's my dream match? Oh, shit. This has never happened. Jesse Ventura and Hulk Hogan from like 1989, you know, just like getting into a beat. I'm burping because I'm so intense. Anyway, let's move on. I'm getting hot and heavy. But we get a video package here before this match actually goes down of like how the MegaPowers came to explode and stuff like that. But let's get into Andre the Giant versus Jake Roberts, because we've been on this graphic for like 10 minutes already.
I was just going to say, this has been on here for too long.
Yeah, Big John Studd is the special guest referee here. You were mentioning Big John Studd has a special guest, just a special kind of place here in this Mania, and here he is, the special guest referee for this match. Big John Studd and Andre the Giant have history in WrestleMania. WrestleMania 1, the $15,000 body slam challenge thing. If you haven't watched, guys, go watch our WrestleMania 1 episode. Great fun time. But yeah, they have history here when it comes to WrestleMania, so I thought that was really cool. Big pop for Jake Roberts. I'm loving what he's been doing the past few many years. But a thing here I wrote, Andre is fearful of snakes, I think, going into this. That's the kind of story going here. Andre didn't wait for the bell either. Immediately grabs Jake Roberts' head, throws it into the exposed turnbuckle that I believe Heenan, or I think it was Heenan exposed maybe before the match started. And or Andre did. Who freaking knows? Andre's hooked up in the ropes with his arms like that. Classic signature move by Andre. This is his signature move, I'm convinced. I say it every time. But Jake grabs the bag with Damien in it. Andre nails Big John Studd, and now they're distracted in the ring, while Ted DiBiase attacks Roberts from behind, grabbing Damien, and now everyone's brawling, like fucking, just so much chaos is going on. While Andre is choking out Big John Studd for whatever reason, Jake throws Damien in the ring. Andre dips so fast, and as a result, by DQ, Jake Roberts wins. Just because, you know, Andre putting his hands on the ref, just choking him for whatever fucking reason. Look at him in the bottom left of your screen. He's crazed. And I don't mean Anthony. I mean Andre. I mean, Anthony
and Andre
too.
Are both we're both crazed. There's a reason why we're on the same side here. We're both, you know.
Yeah. I'm here with Jake Roberts because I got a snake. Okay. I'm sorry.
Anyways,
dude,
I gave this a 1.
I gave this a 1 as well. Let's move on, dude. Oh man. There's a backstage segment with Tony Giovanni interviewing Sensational Sherry. And I actually agree with Sensational Sherry here. Rock and Robin cannot fucking sing. So at least we got that. But the next match we have here, do you want to actually talk about this match? Sorry, I just realized I didn't give you any time to talk about this match.
All I was really going to say was the fact that, like, I don't know how you react to, like, you know, big matches that you weren't expecting, like, you know, Dynamite when Omega and Bryan Danielson kick off the card, right? Like just a big something like that. Well, the way that I reacted to this match was Andre comes out. I'm like, all right, cool. We get an Andre match. It was bound to happen. And then all of a sudden Jake's music hits. And my reaction for like when like things pop me like that is just I whisper, "Oh shit." That's my exact reaction. So that was an "oh shit" moment right there. Fucking Andre getting caught up in the ropes one more time. Like he is obsessed with doing this spot. He is just like, well, I could get the paycheck if I get caught up in the ropes. I need to get caught up in the ropes again. So he gets caught up in the ropes. And I mean, there's only so high that you could rate. There's only so high that you can rate an Andre match. The in-ring stuff was very slow. Honestly, it wasn't even the best Andre match that we've seen. Like so far, I still think like WrestleMania 4 was the best that we saw of Andre specifically.
Yeah.
Because he was just very into it, very energetic. Not even the best of Jake for that matter. Like the George Wells match was far better.
Yeah, that's still on my that's still on my top 10. Fucking spoiler alert.
Not a great
yeah,
showing from Jake at Mania so far, I have to say. The ending sequence with DiBiase getting involved helped it a little bit, but just not a great match, especially with Andre controlling most of the match. You knew that you were going to get a slow pace here, but I love the callbacks to WrestleMania 1. Like that's a big thing that I've liked so far, is like anytime that we see like callbacks to previous Manias, like, you know, in the Battle Royal that we saw Harley Race and Junkyard Dog staring off against each other, and now seeing Big John Studd and Andre staring off against each other. It's cool little things that I like to pick up on. But regardless, I gave it a 1, and I am ready now to move on to the next match.
Let's do it, dude. We have Honky Tonk Man and Greg Valentine, Greg the Hammer Valentine versus the Hart Foundation. I gave this a 2 out of 5. Get this honky, hanky, spanky Tonk Man out the fuck. Get him out of here, dude. I have so much, the amount of go away heat I have fucking, what did I wrote here? Honky, hanky, spanky Tonk Man. This fucking guy is a fucking menace. I dislike him so much. You know, Honky Tonk has Greg Valentine heat for you, Anthony. If I can put it in a simpler way. He has that type of heat for me. Get the fuck away from me. You're dancing.
He's got Greg Valentine heat. Man.
And dude, if I get told, oh, you're getting worked, brother, fuck you. Yes, I am.
There are only two men on this entire planet that get me so heated in wrestling. Number 1 is QT Marshall, and number 2 is Greg Valentine. This is like Greg Valentine / QT Marshall heat for me. Not even X-Pac heat, not go away heat. This is Greg Valentine heat. I could not believe that they put Greg Valentine and Honky Tonk Man on the same team. My first note for this match was, oh, good God, it's Greg Valentine and Honky Tonk. This is the worst tag team ever. But please continue breaking down this match.
Oh, fuck, man. Anyway, I wrote this, this is the first WrestleMania that the Hart Foundation appearance are, you know, where they're not getting booed. Yeah, Jim and Brad weren't getting booed. There were actually baby faces here, which we'll see more of that in coming Manias here. But I wrote here, dude, Bret Hart is Mr. Atomic Drop, man. You know, he was doing it fucking, like, he did it like 10 times at the start of this match. It was great. This was a pretty back and forth match. I liked it. Gorilla Monsoon and Jesse Ventura have great chemistry here, I wrote down. They were just like kind of low-key taking jabs at each other as well, which I started to notice on commentary. And I just noticed how well their chemistry and how well they work together. One of my favorite commentary teams, I reckon, of all time. So Jim the Anvil, though, gets the hot tag in. The crowd has gone bananas. It's pandemonium. But yeah, Jim the Anvil Neidhart is chasing Jimmy Hart around the ring. That's really confusing. Jim Neidhart and Jimmy Hart in the same fucking thing. But the Anvil passes the megaphone of Jimmy Hart to Bret Hart, and Bret knocks out Honky Tonk cold. Thank fuck. Love you so much, Bret. And Bret scores a pin. This is why I'm a Bret guy and not a Michaels guy. I like Michaels. I like Shawn Michaels, but Bret fucking knocks out Honky Tonk Man cold, and I couldn't be happier. What did you think of this match?
Hated Greg and Honky, obviously. Just a fun textbook match here. Bret takes majority of the damage, which you would expect. Get a great hot tag from Neidhart. As much as I hate to admit it, Valentine and Honky Tonk definitely play their role well. I can't believe I'm complimenting them, but they sell big time for the Hearts here. I definitely do like them as a tag team more than I do as separate guys. Like, I don't know, man. Every single singles match with Greg Hammer, I'll start calling him Greg Hammer from now on.
Greg Hammer, that's his AEW name. Greg Hammer.
That's his Iron Sheik name. I feel like Sheiky would call him that. Greg Hammer. Greg Hammer. Like every singles match is just horrendous. But every time this guy is in a tag team, it gets like at least 2.5 stars. He's got a 4. Like, I can't believe I gave Greg the Hammer Valentine a 4 idol match. It's ridiculous. But a nice
Greg
finish at the
Valentine
end.
and Brutus Beefcake, man. You know, fucking not a bad tag team. Better than this shit.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. But yeah, this was not a bad match. But fucking, I'd love to stop talking about this honky tonk fucking guy. What about
It's
you?
good to see the Hart Foundation as a just a regular tag team match now. Like we got the triple, the 6-man tags, and we got the battle royals, but finally we get a nice just tag team match from these guys and their face. So for the Hart Foundation, I liked it.
And Coco Beware wasn't involved, and Danny Davis, so I'm happy about
Yes,
that too. So
which is always a
thank
good
God.
thing.
It's always a good thing. But the next match we have here, do you want to intro this out for us?
Let's do it. It is for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship.
The Ultimate Warrior versus Ravishing Rick Rude.
So we have the Ultimate Warrior versus Ravishing Rick Rude for the Intercontinental Championship. Ultimate Warrior coming into this match as the Intercontinental Champion. What the? We just had a... I think before our time,
Yeah, we had
a breakdown. But dude, we got a video package of how this all began. I'm getting Hollow Net here. It's a great fun time. We got a video package of how this feud all began. Dude, this is just I love recording in different hemispheres. Fuck the world. Hey, this is a big fuck the earth real quick. But I wrote here, how many clients does Bobby Heenan have? Jesus Christ. Because we've seen Bobby Heenan 5 times already this man. I don't know, man. That's just pulling that out of my ass. But guess what? That's I would believe that number because the amount of times we saw him. But the camera cuts to the women in the crowd while Rick Rude's doing his huge freaking robe undressing thing. Warrior running down to the ring, shaking the ropes, burping like crazy. And the action gets started right away. Rick Rude goes for a knee to the sternum on Warrior. But Warrior still has the championship title on. So this Rick Rude just injures himself. And I want to point out something here as well, that Rick Rude sells his injuries throughout this entire match. Props to Rick Rude. He's selling shit throughout this the lower back, the knee. He's doing whatever. And Rude is also getting manhandled, man. It's very Warrior heavy for most of this match. I also found myself skipping through this match quite a bit, especially the bear hugs, just the rest holds, man. I don't, like you said, Last Mania or some other Mania, it might have been a Warrior match, but there was just so many rest holds, and it just took me out of it a lot of the time. So I skipped through all the rest holds. Rick Rude finds some offense with a really clean pile driver. Rude is still selling injuries. Warrior shaking the ropes is kind of goofy because he's in like a fucking... So Rick Rude had him in like a submission hold. Warrior gets to the ropes and he just starts shaking him, dude. I thought that was super goofy. Randomly in the match while he's in a hold, just... Anyway, Warrior goes to suplex Rude from the apron, but Heenan grabs a hold of Warrior's foot and Rick Rude lands right on top of Warrior in a pinning position, scoring the pin with the help of Bobby Heenan, and we have a new Intercontinental Champion, Rick Rude. I gave this 1.5. You also gave this 1.5. What do you think of this match?
Are we still here?
Hello, chickity check. Are we still here? Hello?
Oh boy, I'm having holler net. I don't know what the hell is going on, but did you finish talking about this match?
I did. I don't know if it came up on the episode, but yeah, Rick Rude cheekily gets the pin by way of Heenan. Not by way of AlfredVision, I wish, but by way of Heenan holding Warrior's foot. Rick Rude is the new IC title champion holder, whatever the fuck. What do you think of this match? We both gave it 1.5.
Yeah, I gave this 1.5 as well. I apologize in advance if my connection is acting wonky. I put my hotspot on, so hopefully this will help out. But I've been having some technical issues at the Hollywood household. But regardless, I will say that Warrior's offense is just a lot slower than it should be. With the gimmick that he has of being like the Ultimate Warrior and energetic and all this shit, he should not be like this slow with the bear hugs and all of this. Like, he should be very fast. I will say that Rick Rude sells those Irish whips beautifully. Maybe one too many, or a few too many for that matter. But regardless, he does sell the Irish whips very well, like a madman, I put in my notes. The bear hug just drained the life out of this match. And the finish caught my attention. I was not expecting to see Warrior lose here. So Rick Rude getting a cheeky win was just a nice way to cap things off here. So I gave this 1.5 idols. Didn't love it. It was kind of just a match. So I gave it 1.5.
Exactly. And then that brings us to our next match, which was Bad News Brown versus Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Oh my god. First fucking note of this I wrote, don't care, capital letters. I gave this a goddamn dud. I'm not going to speak on this too much. Give me Hogan and Macho already. Fuck it. Anyway, Bad News Brown grabs a chair. Duggan grabs his 2x4 and then they whack each other with it. Double DQ is how they end this fucking match. Fuck, what a waste of time. I give this a dud. What do you think of this match?
I didn't mind it, to be honest. I thought it was okay. Like, the only reason why... Okay, let me rephrase. The only reason I thought this was okay was because they at least did something of, like, going to the outside and, including the weapons and shit. It wasn't just like, Ronnie Garvin, that it's just a 2-minute match for no reason. At least there was some reason for this match to happen, and it made it feel a little different. It was just very quick. And like, this is just a running trend of a lot of these matches just do not need to be on a WrestleMania card for any reason whatsoever. This match we're about to get to, Ronnie Garvin match, fucking a few of these tag match, like, they don't need to be on this card.
This should have been on 205 Live. That's how much I don't want to watch this.
Yeah, put it on the what is it called now? The NXT Level Up, whatever the development of the development is. Put it on Level Up with
developmental of the developmental.
Yeah, please just get it off my peacock. And that goes for this next match too, if we just want to blow by this one as well.
Yep. Bobby Heenan versus Red Rooster. What the fuck's going on? Heenan is selling injuries from being attacked by Warrior after the Rick Rude and Warrior match, because that happened. Heenan was begging for mercy, but Red Rooster isn't having it. I don't even know how he got here. How is this match so close to the main event? It is co-main event. It is right before the main event, Macho and Hulk Hogan. Maybe the biggest match in this WrestleMania history so far for me. And this is what is... Okay, anyway. I need more Lord Alfred Hayes, honestly. I'm just itching for it at this point. But Rooster scores the pinfall in under a minute, I think. Gets immediately attacked by the Brooklyn Brawler, who was in Heenan's corner. This was a dud, man. This is my third and final dud of this. Dude,
you're giving a lot of duds tonight. I'm impressed for
I've
the
never
dud
given more than
himself.
one. I've never given more than one in an episode, man. I gave 3 because there was just so much like shit I felt like in this Mania. But
sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. That's exactly what this Mania is all about.
Sometimes maybe shit. So, and it's a lot of both in this Mania.
Yeah. Just a quick word about this match. Again, did not need to happen whatsoever. This was 2 moves. That's all it was. It wasn't even a minute. Like, ridiculous. Bobby Heenan was also, I forgot to mention because of our little technical difficulty there. Bobby Heenan was hurt from Ultimate Warrior earlier on after the post-match assault by Ultimate Warrior. So going into this, he was hurt too. So it makes you wonder, maybe they cut a little bit of time from this match because he was hurt. I doubt it. They forced Bobby Heenan to be at WrestleMania 2 after being hospitalized. I'm sure he would have wrestled a 15-minute match if they needed him to. But anyways, I'm talking way too much about this match. This was garbage. But before we get into the main event, there is one more little promo that we forgot to get to, and it's probably the best promo on the night. And it's from our boy, Mr. Hulk Hogan himself. And I think we just got to let the man speak for himself. There he is. There's that beautiful figure. I think we just got to let the man speak for himself. By way of...
AlfredVision, brother. Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
I don't care where you stand. I don't care what you believe in. All I want from you is your best. I want you to be ready. I want the Macho Madness to be at its peak. Because when Hulkamania rules, when Hulkamania lives forever, when Hulkamania puts you down on your knees, I want the whole world to realize that I beat you to best. And at the end of WrestleMania 5, I will be the World Wrestling Federation Champion. And what you're gonna do, Macho Man, when the whole world full of Hulkamaniacs destroy you?
And we gave this match a dud. No, I'm kidding. That's what I thought. I thought you got the graphic up for this match and it was just dud both ways. But yeah, man, this is great. Let's get into this. I believe there's another little intro video for this match. So let's hit it, Anthony.
Macho Man Randy Savage versus Hulk Hogan.
Now, when I talk masterpieces, man, this match, I did not expect it to be as good as it was. I obviously was really hyped going into it, but you know, Hogan isn't known for his in-ring work, but here it completely changed my mind. A lot of people say Hulk Hogan is overrated in the ring, and I don't disagree with that. He's not the greatest. He's not very in-ring savvy. I think his promos are what sells the matches that he's in. But man, this match, I was really surprised with what Hogan did here. And before this match even happened, we had a backstage interview with Miss Elizabeth stating that she's going to stay neutral during this match and hoping that neither man be seriously injured. And I also thought that Tony Giovanni announcing that the locker room is emptying as they make their way to the arena. Yeah, dude, they don't want to miss this match. That's how you make something feel huge for maybe someone who's a first-time watcher who doesn't really understand. That really puts it in perspective, and it's just great storytelling as well. Macho has his entrance, gets booed, and also Miss Elizabeth has a separate entrance as well after Macho Man. And I wrote, here's the Hulkamaniac, the crowd's losing it, Hulk Hogan comes out, it's pandemonium. I wrote, I'm a little Hulkster. I don't know if you are, Anthony, but I definitely am a little Hulkster for sure.
Oh, absolutely, I'm a Hulkster. Maybe not nowadays, because you can't really be a Hulkster nowadays. But I am a Hulkster. In my past life, when I lived in the 1980s, sure, I was absolutely a Hulkster.
Yeah, me too. When I was a child growing up in the 80s, I was the biggest Hulk Hogan fan. Whichever dimension or multiverse that's in. But I wrote, this feels like the main event. Maybe one of my most anticipated matches in Before Our Time history. There's a great back and forth between the champ and the challenger, man. The Macho Man is doing some classic heel moves, taking a powder out of the ring, putting Miss Elizabeth in the way of Hogan as a shield, you know, making sure Hogan doesn't get to him and stuff like that. Hogan does a nice full rotation wrestling sequence on the floor that resolves in a front headlock rest hold onto Savage, which I thought was like some of the best wrestling we've seen from Hulk Hogan. In WWF, at least. I know he has some New Japan stuff. I burped because I was so hiccuping. Oh my god! But I don't know what's happening with my body, Anthony. But dude, there's some great stuff. I know Hulk Hogan was in New Japan. He's had a great match with Stan Hansen and stuff like that. You know, but this is WWF we're talking about. Some people are very foreign to that sort of stuff, especially in this kind of space here. So, I thought that was really cool. Hogan doing some nice mat wrestling. Fucking awesome. Really here for it. Hogan's busted open, man. I think there was a cut above his eye or something like that. I think a commentary was selling it as his eye. But Miss Elizabeth tries to come to the aid of Savage. But Macho Man doesn't want any help. He doesn't want any of it. He shoos Miss Elizabeth away. And Randy's going after the cut eye of Hogan. So doing straight heel moves right here. Fantastic storytelling with Miss Elizabeth throughout this entire match, I thought. Macho Man tears Elizabeth off of Hogan. And because I was watching this with Sarah, he just says, they're going to have a domestic. And I thought that fucking cracked me up. I was like, yeah, dude, probably. Macho Man grabs wrist tape and from his own little wrist and starts choking Hogan with it. Fucking, that's a brutal heel move. I didn't know Macho Man was all the way that way here in this match, but that just kind of proved it, solidified it. Macho Man hits that giant elbow drop from the top rope. I thought that's it. Hogan's not going to get up from this. That's just the match because of just how the suspense building onto it. But Hogan powerfully kicks out at 2. He's hulking up. This place is going bananas. Hogan lands the big boot, leg drop, and wins the title back. His title back that he so wrongfully got rid of. Hogan needs his posing, of course. It wouldn't be Hogan without his posing. And he poses for like another 3 minutes until this Mania outros. But dude, I gave this 4 out of 5. One of my favorite matches here. My favorite match. Who knows? Stay tuned for my top 10. But dude, what do you think of this match, man?
I mentioned it earlier on in the show that I watched this for the Classic Match Classroom, and I wasn't sure like what I was going to eventually rate this. I'll be honest, like watching this match again, I really caught on to like how good it is. Like just for lack of a better term. Savage obviously plays the heel so well. The inclusion of Miss Elizabeth, I used to think that it was a little bit like too much, but now looking at it, like it really works so well. I think my main critique with this match when I first watched it was the fact that I didn't really love the earlier stages of the match. I don't know why I didn't, because honestly, that's where majority of the great stuff happens in this match is the earlier, the earlier portion. Like you mentioned it, that was, I'll be honest, I did not write any notes for this match except for holy shit, Hogan with some technical moves, because I thought that was literally crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't write any notes for this match because I was so like just into it. Like I was watching it the whole time. And, you said it, like you painted it out perfectly. Like, Hogan doing some mat wrestling, like Savage being just the heel. And I think Elizabeth's inclusion was perfect here. Like, didn't need to be more, didn't need to be any less. Hogan bleeding, I always mention it, but like a little color definitely adds so much drama to the match. And my only setback of this match is just the finish. Like I wish they would have built up a little bit more to that, the hulking up, but I guess that was just the time frame that we were in. Like, the 80s, you need, to really stress that hulk up. So I get it, but it could have been a little more. Kind of made Savage look weak in the end, after having like a really strong outing. And a lot of people like kind of think of this as like, oh, Savage, and this is kind of pulling back the curtain a little bit. Like, this is their way of like, moving on from the Savage experience, if you will, or the Savage experiment, if you will, like, putting the title on someone other than Hogan, finally putting that title back on Hogan. And honestly, I did my research, and Savage was a draw, like during his time. Like he would, sell out like a lot of different arenas. Even when he was doing like heel versus heel matches, like he was doing a lot of house shows where it was him versus Bad News Brown for the world title. So he was definitely a draw. So the misconception of, putting the title back on Hogan because Savage wasn't doing as good of numbers is definitely false. So all in all, really great match here. I think this is up there with Savage's best matches that we've seen, period. I think this is easily Hogan's best match that we've seen of his. And I'm sure in a few moments we're going to reveal that this is probably one of the better matches that we've seen so far in these Manias. But overall, just a really great way to cap off this very unusual, some good, some shit Mania.
Some may be good, some may be shit, and I think that's a perfect segue to get into our next segment. Guys, we have finished WrestleMania, but we are not out of your hair just yet. Let's get into our Mr. Manias. Anthony, I would love for you to start us off. But before we get started off, guys, if you don't know what this segment is, basically we take this whole WrestleMania, who we thought really shined through the most in this Mania, and who we thought was the top dog. So, Anthony, start us off here.
The top dog of WrestleMania 5, it's no question. It's fucking Hulk Hogan. Like, It was going to come down to him and Savage. I'm going to be honest. Slight consideration for Shawn Michaels on this one. I won't lie. I was thinking about giving it to Shawn just because of like first Mania, sold his ass off for Akeem, hungover. Like he really pulled out all the stops on this one. I'm sure there were some other guys that I was considering giving it to. Obviously like Mr. Perfect, Blue Blazer, they were getting some consideration. Anyone who really had a great match, I was thinking of. But of course, it was going to come down to Hogan or Savage. And between the promo and this being Hogan's best outing, you couldn't not give it to Hogan on this one. Savage made Hogan look strong here, but Hulk was really selling his ass off for Savage, made him look like a threat, pulling up some mat work and technical maneuvers, some of which that we wouldn't necessarily see from Hogan because he went for more of a simplistic move set as opposed to more of a, the Japanese type of technical mat-based wrestling that he would do overseas in New Japan. So nice change of pace here from Hogan. The emotion, the Hulk up, the blood, everything with Elizabeth, the drama, everything all together. This was Hogan's best match that we've seen so far. So had to give it to Hogan.
Without a doubt, man. Yeah, you bring a really good point. Like, I feel like, oh man, I've given Hogan the Mr. Mania spot a lot, but my Mr. Mania is gonna be Hulk Hogan as well. You can't not give it to Hulk Hogan here, man. I was thinking Randy Savage as well, but I think the moment of him just winning the title back was huge, and the whole build up to it and the whole storyline going into it, like, was amazing. MegaPowers, everyone was invested into it, and then they explode, and then this is the main event. This is the main event for me. This is the most anticipated match in Before Our Time history for me right now, and I'm gonna say that over and over again until you guys get it in your thick little skulls, okay? But yeah, this was my Mr. Mania, but oh my god, I messed it up. This was my my Mr. Mania, but Anthony, I did a little bit of I pulled some strings here at the Before Our Time studios, okay, and I have a little surprise. It's my Mrs. Mania, and my Miss Mania has got to be Miss Elizabeth. I thought I had to give her some sort of praise in this because she was amazing in this whole story. I felt like the story of the match revolved completely around Miss Elizabeth, and I thought she handled it really well, especially with the backstage segment before the match actually went along. I'm going to keep it neutral and just make sure go down the line and stuff like that. I thought Miss Elizabeth did amazing here, and I think, yeah, she really should get praise for the work she did for this match and building this story, because she helped in a major way. My little JR impression right there, but yeah, dude, that was my Mr. Mania and my Miss Mania, I guess. Now,
yeah,
one time special only.
I was thinking about giving Elizabeth the Miss Mania, but I wasn't sure yet. But well, also you forgot to introduce your Miss Mania, so I'll do it for you. So Nick, who's your Miss Mania anyway? Yeah, we had a graphic for that, man.
Well, at least we got to use it, okay? Well, now, if there's another Miss Mania, there we go, boom. And now I
my Miss Mania was Rockin' Robin. I thought she did a great job with the national. Anyways, are you ready to move on to our final segment here?
Let's do it, baby.
Alrighty, folks, it is time for all of the marbles, and that is where we rank our top 10 running list of our best WrestleMania matches. Nick, would you like to start us off here on your marbles list?
Let's do it, guys. We have a top 10 each week, and they kind of differ here and there. And my top 10, as it stands right now, is number 10, I have Jake Roberts versus George Wells. which was Jake Roberts' first Mania appearance. Number 9, Can-Am Connection versus Don Morocco and Bob Orton. Number 8, Macho Man versus Ted DiBiase, which was the main event of the last Mania, I believe. So number 7, we have Brainbusters versus Strikeforce. Man, I really loved Brainbusters in this match. Really enjoyed this match overall. The whole story of Tito Santana and Rick Martel splitting. Fantastic stuff. Really liked it here. Number 6, Hogan versus King Kong Bundy, the main event from WrestleMania 2. Number 5, Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant from WrestleMania 3, the main event. Number 4, Funk Brothers versus Tito Santana and Junkyard Dog, still up there. Number 3, Dream Team versus British Bulldogs. Now, that might be a surprise to some of you guys because that was my number 1 for this entire series. Until I did some changing around, and Macho Man versus Ricky Steamboat's number 2, and for number 1, I have to give it to Hulk Hogan and Macho Man from this Mania. I'm such a little Hulkster, it's insane. But man, I'm really happy with this list. I kind of like removed a lot of stuff, kind of changed a lot of stuff around between this week and last week, so I'm happy with this. Anthony, what's your marbles, sir?
Yeah, man, same as you. I made some changes to the list. Some things stayed, but some things had to be changed. At number 10, I think this took the biggest drop out of all of them, is the WrestleMania 1 main event, Mr. T, Hulk Hogan versus Piper and Orndorff. Number 9, also from WrestleMania 1, was the tag team title match, still going strong. The U.S. What do you call them? Wyndham Rotunda, if you will, going up against Sheik and Volkov. Still had to keep them in there. Very fun tag match. Number 8, I have the British Bulldogs and Coco Beware versus, was this when they went up against the Islanders and Bobby Heenan? I believe that was the match. I could be wrong. It's my number 8, and I don't even know what the match is. There you go. Number 7, new inclusion, is Blue Blazer versus Mr. Perfect. Just thought this was such a high-energy match. Loved everything about it. Wish it got more time, but in the time that they did have, they made it worthwhile. Number 6, Ricky Steamboat versus Hercules Hernandez. Still going strong. One of my more underrated matches in WrestleMania so far. Number 5, I got to go with the Twin Towers versus the Rockers. Love this match. Power versus speed. Big man versus cruiserweights. Shawn Michaels selling his ass off. Akeem just not running whatsoever. And great tag moves from both guys. That power bomb from Big Boss Man alone is enough to give this a number 5 spot. Number 4, it's Piper versus Adonis from WrestleMania 3. Love the energy and love the entertainment factor of this match. Number 3, I'm also shifting this down a little bit, is the British Bulldogs versus the Dream Team from WrestleMania 2. Still a banger tag team match, but there are some other matches that are better. That, of course, being number 2, which was the main event of this Mania, Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage. So many amazing factors all carried into one match. Just made it so great. The emotion, the in-ring work, the technical mat work, the blood, entertainment, everything worked so well. And number 1 still has to be Steamboat and Savage. A textbook match, if you will. I was debating whether or not I wanted to put Hogan and Savage over it, but I instead just decided let's stay with Savage and Steamboat. It's a classic. And yeah, that's my marbles. I'm pretty happy with the list overall. I think both of our lists are going really strong. We had great Mr. Manias this week. You had a Miss Mania. We're breaking ground here on a new ground here on the before our time. But ladies and gentlemen, we are wrapping up here. We got a minute left on the show, so it's going to be a quick outro. Thank you guys for joining us. We will see you next week because we have got WrestleMania 6, The Ultimate Challenge. It's going to be a phenomenal show. Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan in the main event. Nick, give me one word. That's all you get.
Maniacal.
See you next week, guys.